everyone, welcome to Expert Guides Tutorial Services. I am Paul Sugayo. I am an incoming second year medical student and I will be your tutor for Grade 4 Science. Today we will be talking about materials. What are the different properties of materials? First, we have porosity. Porosity is a property of material that lets it absorb water and other liquids. Porous materials have plenty of spaces inside where liquid can be absorbed. Non-porous materials, meanwhile, cannot absorb water. On the left-hand side, we have a sponge, and on the right-hand side, we have a plastic bag. Which of the two do you think is a porous material? The correct answer is that the sponge is the porous material, while the plastic bag is non-porous. As you can see, the sponge has holes where water can be stored. On the other hand, the plastic bag do not have any of these pores or concavities that can possibly hold water. Next we have density and buoyancy. Density is the amount of matter that an object has. It is a measure of mass per unit volume. Buoyancy is the tendency of an object to float or rise when put in a liquid. Buoyant force is the upward push exerted by a liquid on an object. Here we have an example of three materials exhibiting three different densities. We have cork, which is floating completely, wood that is slightly submerged, and aluminum, which is fully submerged. With these said, we can say that cork is the least dense, followed by wood, then aluminum being the most dense. Density also applies to liquid. We have oil, water, and honey, which all exhibit different densities. The higher the density, the more that it will sink to the bottom of the test tube. Hence, the highest density is honey, followed by water, then oil has the least density. Biodegradable materials are materials which rot and decay. Decomposers are bacteria and fungi that help break down dead plants and animals. Non-biodegradable materials, on the other hand, are materials that do not decay. On the first column, on the left, we have peels of vegetables and fruits, paper, and wood. On the right column, we have plastic bag, glass bottle, and can. Which of the two columns do you think is composed of biodegradable materials? Which of the two columns, on the other hand, is composed of non-biodegradable materials? Yes, the left column is composed of biodegradable materials. On the other hand, the right-hand column is made up of non-biodegradable materials. Let's have another exercise. We have fruits, hair, and papers on the top column. At the bottom, we have plastic bags, hardware, and bottles. Which of the two rows do you think is composed of biodegradable materials? Which is made up of non-biodegradable materials? Correct. The row at the top is made up of biodegradable materials, while the bottom row is made up of non-biodegradable materials. Presented here is a diagram of the four properties of materials that we have discussed. You may pause the video to review. Let us now discuss safety measures in using materials. We should be aware of the effects of decaying materials to our health so that we may avoid these. Leftover foods should be checked first before eating them to make sure they are not spoiled. Food spoilage is one form of decay. The presence of molds and bubbles on food, as well as its foul odor, are signs of spoilage. Spoiled foods contain disease-causing bacteria that can weaken your body and make you sick. Some of the illnesses you may get out of eating spoiled food stuff are cholera, diarrhea, and food poisoning. Decaying garbage in street corners or other open areas serve as breeding places for flies, cockroaches, rats, and mosquitoes. These insects are carriers of disease-causing germs. Diseases such as malaria, leptospirosis, and dengue can easily spread by these insects and rodents. Malaria is a disease caused by a parasite. The parasite is spread to humans through the bites of infected mosquitoes. People who have malaria usually feel very sick with a high fever and shaking chills. While the disease is uncommon in temperate climates, malaria is still common in tropical and subtropical countries. We should be careful of female mosquitoes, which are known as night-biting mosquitoes because they most commonly bite between dusk and dawn. If a mosquito bites a person already infected with malaria, it can also become infected and spread the parasite onto other people. Leptospirosis is a rare bacterial infection we get from animals. It is spread through their urine, especially from dogs, rodents, and farm animals. Now we should be aware of the proper use, handling, and storage of materials. We should be wary of hazard symbols which appear on containers of materials which are explosive, flammable, poisonous, and corrosive. I will be discussing and asking later the appearance of these symbols. For now, let us discuss their definitions. Explosive. Substances with this symbol may explode. Mark all containers of explosives. Place screens over any vents to keep rodents out of the explosives. Flammable. Substances with this symbol catch fire readily and burn in the air. The proper storage is by storing these materials in their original containers and keeping them away from fire. Toxic. Substances with this symbol are poisonous to people and other organisms. It can cause severe headache when swallowed, inhaled, or comes into contact with skins. Finally, we have the symbol of corrosive. Substances with this symbol may destroy living tissues as well as some equipment. Do not breathe their vapor and avoid contact with skin and eyes. Now, based on what we have discussed, what do you think does the symbol at the right signify? Does it mean that the substance labeled with this is an explosive? Or is it flammable, toxic, or corrosive? The correct answer is flammable, as we see the symbol of sort of a fire. Substances with this symbol catch fire readily and burn in the air. Next, we have this symbol. What do you think does this symbol signify? Explosive, flammable, toxic, or corrosive? The correct answer is corrosive. Remember, corrosive substances may destroy living tissues as well as some equipment. Here we see the hand being corroded or destroyed by the substance. You also see this object at the left being destroyed by the substance. Hence, the symbol is corrosive. Next, we have a skull and some bones. What do you think does this signify? Explosive, flammable, toxic, or corrosive? If you answered toxic, you are correct. These are substances which are poisonous to people and other organisms. It can even cause death in very severe situations, hence this symbol. Lastly, we have this symbol, which appears to be some sort of object that has been shattered. What do you think does this signify? Explosive, flammable, toxic, or corrosive? The correct answer is explosive. Seen in this symbol is an object that was shattered into pieces. Hence, this symbol signifies that a substance may explode. So remember, what's necessary is the proper use, handling, and storage of materials to prevent illnesses, poisoning, fires, and burns. Thank you for listening. Please do not forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.